Everybody okay? Everybody still here? Who left? Why'd you leave? Alright. But let's get back into it. But removing it from the notebook is the same as removing it from Mr. Sprocket's memory. Which means he wouldn't have been able to trick the police if he came under suspicion. No, if he wanted to cover up his crime, he would have to remember that he had done it. Yeah, so that's the big problem, right? Just what are you getting at with this line of inquiry, Mr. Wright? Yes, please explain it so that we can all understand. Yes, Your Honor. The page was torn out of the notebook because somebody else tore it out. The incriminating page was torn out by someone else. What? Order, order. Are you claiming that a third person interfered with a notebook? It's not all that surprising if you consider what's happened up until now. After both the car accident and the murder of Dumas Gloomsbury, there was always a cover-up not far behind. But I had my notebook with me at all times. Did you? Because I remember you were in a panic yesterday because you couldn't find it. That's true. So who orchestrated this particular cover-up, Mr. Wright? If we think back over the course of the trial, it's pretty easy to guess. The one who may have tried to tamper with Soren's memories is...
Take that!
The one who tampered with the notebook in order to manipulate Mr. Sprocket's memory is Pierce Nicati. Pierce tried to tamper with my memories? Pierce was manipulating me. Case in point, the two receptions that were held to cover up the murder. It was Mr. Nicati who directed the guests and orchestrated the entire scheme. No, it can't be. Which of my memories are mine and which have been rewritten? When did he start rewriting my memories? Who wrote this, and this, and this? And this, and this, and this? Yeah. Your memories are false. What? Don't. Get back here. Soren! He literally took off. Look, Nick, he's coming back down. Buzz Lightyear niggas. My memories, Ellen. And now he's out. Mr. Sprocket. Bailiff, please get Mr. Sprocket to the infirmary on the double. Mr. Sprocket has been taken to the infirmary. We don't have to worry about him running away, so let us resume where we left off. Your Honor, the defense would like to call Pierce Nicati to the stand.
Objection!
We already know he carried out the cover-up to protect company and Mr. Sprocket. What more do you want from him? This time it's different. The notebook, or rather, Mr. Sprocket's memories, have been tampered with. That means the only person who knows the whole truth is now Mr. Nicati. Don't tell me. Are you actually trying to drum up a third suspect in order to exonerate the defendant and her groom? I'm not drumming up anything, nor do I have any grounds to accuse him of anything. Yet. All I know is that Mr. Nicati is the only one who knows the truth. Soren faints. Well, anyways, back to what I was saying. Literally the fucking... Let me go find it.
But anywho...
Is that. It's just that. Literally just a phoenix. still think he's hiding something. Something we don't know about yet. No grounds yet, is it? Well, Mr. Edgeworth, does the prosecution consent to calling the witness to the witness stand? It does, Your Honor. However, I would like to give a little time to talk with the witness before we do. Very well. We will break for a 20-minute recess. Pog. To be continued? Oh, shit. Alright then. It's really kind of crazy that I would expect the special episode to have something else to indicate it's a special episode other than Phoenix Face. But I guess not. September 23rd, District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 3. Where the fuck? Okay. Now I'll have to face Pierce on the stand. I'm not sure if I should be surprised or not. One thing's for sure, you won't be an easy adversary. That video is Phoenix when everyone stands there watching Soren's whole reality shatter. Exactly. Quite literally, but anywho... Now, all we have to do is wait and see who notices. It should be Gallus. Gallus should be the one that notices. It's too early to say anything at this point, but I do think he's still hiding something. Nick! Why don't you pin everything on Soren Loser back there? Looks like Larry still hasn't given up on Ellen. If this Pierce guy is the real bad guy, then Soren and my Ellie will live happily ever after. Did you say my name? Yeah, no, I just changed something. Not on stream that you can see, at least right now, but you might notice it in the future. Hopefully shortly. It's not the kind of decent thing, that's not the kind of thing a decent human being says. Shame on you, Larry. Oh, boo-hoo. You think I don't know? I have to give up on my Ellie. But, Nick, promise me you'll make her happy. She deserves a happily ever after. I'm sure Soren will make her happy once all this is said and done. Trial is about to resume, Mr. Wright. Alright, you ready, Maya? Yep, let's go. I'll be rooting for you, Nick. September 23rd, District Court, Courtroom number 6, Mambo number 5. This courtroom is now back in session. Witness, please take the stand. Hold on. Pierce's code is kind of nice. Please state your name and occupation. My name is Pierce Nakati. I am the Sprocket family butler. Uh-oh. Wait, did I not... Wait a minute. Did I not make it so... Yeah. Require viewer to enter text. Now I got it. Alright. Final Fantasy IV will be next on the docket. After Ace Attorney Investigations. Someone tore out a page from Mr. Sprocket's notebook to manipulate his memories. And that person was you, wasn't it? Whistling over the look Ellen had when Soren said she did the murder, she was so hurt. Yeah, of course. Dog, if your fucking betrothed says, yeah, no, they killed this guy, you're gonna be like, what? Damn, man, why? That is correct. What about it? Well, that was easy. So, why did you do it? Why did you tamper with Mr. Sprocket's notebook? Please allow me to explain. It pains me to do this, but I will tell you the truth. It pains you? That is correct. For my testimony will go against Master Soren's wishes. Soren's wishes? What is he talking about? Witness yes-demony. Why I tore out the page. I rushed to the Vista deck, but the crime had already been committed. I saw Miss Ellen in Gloomsbury collapsed and Master Soren writing in his notebook. Master Soren said to me, I'll take the blame for the murder, so please take care of Ellen. But I went against his order. I tore the page out of his notebook and hid the body. Wait a second. What Mr. Sprocket was writing in his notebook at the time, could it be? No. It was meant to be a confession, an admission he'd killed Gloomsbury himself. Because if that was the case, you would have torn it out cleanly. You wouldn't have made it sloppy like that. He wrote that message to take the blame for Miss Wyatt. That is correct. Master Soren did hit Gloomsbury with a timekeeper to save Miss Ellen. And Mr. Sprocket was the culprit after all. However, that blow did not kill Gloomsbury. That makes sense. Mr. Sprocket's injury wouldn't allow him to put much force into it. Wait, where's the... My save and fucking... My buttons are gone. I don't have save and I don't have the court record. What happened? Enraged, Gloomsbury tried to attack Master Soren, who was already seriously wounded. But just in the nick of time, Miss Ellen hit Gloomsbury from behind and finished him off, it would seem. So the one who inflicted the fatal blow was the defendant. Yes, that is correct. But Master Soren tried to take all of the blame onto himself. No way. This is pretty bad, Nick. No kidding. Pretty bad is an understatement. Well, Mr. Wright, it seems your decision to call for Mr. Nakati has backfired. For the true culprit behind this case remains the defendant, Ellen White. Could this get any worse? But Pierce was involved in the cover-up plot, and I bet he still has something to hide. Cross-examination. Why tore out the page? So, you went to the scene of the crime. You saw Soren writing in the book. He said he'll take the blame, so take care of Ellen. You tore the page out of the notebook and hit the body, right? Is that it? Alright. I think we just press on everything, right? Or press on specific statements, at least. Rush back to the Vista deck, yes. Yes. Yes, okay. So, where did you hide the body at, buddy? Mr. Nakati, could you please tell this court about that in more detail? That, you say? Which part do you mean, Mr. Wright? Could you be more specific? Wait, so I can redeem a game selection during the first Final Fantasy IV scream to screw Gallus out of a full playthrough? No. So, like I said, when I first initially thought of that, the thing is, if I enjoy streaming it, like it'll be one stream. If I enjoy streaming it, we'll continue that game. But if it's like a game where I'm like, all right, I'm not really feeling this. It's a one and done. It'll be a game I stream once, and that'll be it. To be perfectly honest, Final Fantasy IV is probably going to be one of the games that I'm going to continue playing all the way through. So if you happen to redeem game selection during Final Fantasy IV at any point, it gets put into the queue after Final Fantasy IV. Keep in mind, this is all going to be after Investigations, right? At least Investigations 1. Oh, alright. What part do I want to know more about? I want to know more about hiding the body. Please tell me more about the hiding of the body. Very well. After saying he would take the blame, Master Soren passed out. That's when I hit the body. I quickly took the lift down to the hole, where I hid Gloomsbury's still warm body inside the spare pergable lantern. So it was you who hit the body, not the defendant. I think Mr. Butts would move the lantern containing the body to the reception hall. Well, I did not see that coming. I don't blame you. Not even Larry can predict what Larry will do next. Maybe I should take another look at the lantern and evidence. Mr. Wright, would you like that statement added to the witness's testimony? Fuck yeah, bud. Alright. Yes, please. Very well. Please add the statement to your testimony, Mr. Nakati. In the hold, I hid the still warm body in the spare pegable lantern. Excuse me. But I don't think he was dead in that fucking lantern because... What the fuck is it? Okay, here it is. It got repaired, right?
Objection!
Stay gone? Yes. Could it be? Is that what happened? If what I'm thinking is true, then maybe I can prove neither Ellen nor Soren did the deed. Mr. Nakati, you said the body was still warm when you hid it, correct? So then what if Mr. Gloomsbury was still alive when you went to put his body inside the lantern? What? What? That's preposterous. Actually, this shows that the victim might have still been alive and went inside the lantern. I'm afraid we'll have to point out which part you're talking about, Mr. Wright. This part here shows that the victim might have still been alive inside the lantern. It's the valve. Or excuse me, they're calling it what? The wheel handles? As you can see, the back end of this lantern is a door. And there's blood on the wheel handle. That's right, wheel handles. That blood stain must have gotten there when the witness put the body inside the lantern. It in no way shows that the victim drew his last breath while he was inside the lantern. I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth, for you see, in putting this lantern back together, the police inadvertently placed the inside handle on the outside, and vice versa. In other words, the wheel handles got swapped. Oh my, so they got swapped? Yes, they got swapped. What? But that's ridiculous. What do you mean they got swapped? Not at all. If you compare the other male pegable lantern in the reception hall. It's quite obvious the wheel handles were attached backwards. The detective in charge of the restoration will see me in my office later. Sorry, Emma, and good luck. In that case, what does the bloodstain on the wheel handle mean? The bloodstain didn't get there by chance. When the victim was put inside the lantern, he was only unconscious, not dead. When he regained consciousness, he probably tried to get out of the lantern, so he grasped the inner wheel handle, and that's when the blood got on it. This proves that the victim was alive when he was still inside the lantern. At the time, I was completely convinced Gloomsbury was dead. Had I checked more carefully, he might have survived. Pierce's hair is like... It's weird, because it reminds me of, Is it? Not, no, Fuck. It's very reminiscent of something, but I don't know exactly what. Stay home, stay entertained, watch YouTube Plus, download... What is it, Quibi? Shut up, Google Pixel. Unfortunate to be sure, but not significant enough to change this trial's outcome. Again, I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth. It's Eisen from Bleach. There's a couple things. Like, you could say Eisen, you could say Sephiroth. It's like not 100% Sephiroth, but it's close. It actually has a very significant impact on this case. The victim was struck by the defendant and then died from his injuries sometime later. There's nothing more to it.
Objection!
That's where you're wrong. Let's take another look at Mr. Gloomsbury's autopsy report, shall we? One contusion on the back of the head, and one on the side. Yeah. Yes, the one Mr. Sprocket gave him, and the one Miss Wyatt delivered to finish him off. No, the defense would like to submit a different interpretation. A different interpretation? The victim was knocked unconscious by the first blow, then was put into the lantern. Then what about the lethal blow by the defendant the witness talked about? It's a fucking lie, guy, are you... Let's just assume, right? Let's just assume he's not stupid for a minute. Alright, we're done assuming? Yeah, he's a fucking moron. Yes, well, that didn't happen. after some time, when the victim regained consciousness and tried to get out of the lantern, that's when he received the second blow that finished him off. Taking into account the fact that the victim was alive for the period of time after the first hit, and that he did receive a second blow to the head, it does seem entirely possible. Yes, as long as the first blow didn't kill the victim instantly, then there's a possibility that someone other than Mr. Sprocket or Miss White delivered the final blow.
Objection!
That's all you've got. Even if there was a time lag between the two blows, the prosecution's position doesn't change. What? What do you mean? It's elementary, Mr. Wright. After the reception, when the defendant was cleaning up the reception hall, the victim, who was supposed to be dead, suddenly came out with a lantern. The defendant grabbed the murder weapon, which was right there, and finished him off. That theory sounds awfully familiar. Of course it does, Your Honor, because it's exactly what I proposed at the very start. The second blow was inflicted by the defendant after all. I see. It seems the tangle of mysteries has unraveled into a single thread.
Objection!
But as long as there's a possibility that the fatal blow was delivered by a third person, then we must continue the deliberations. Give it up, Mr. Wright, unless you have something to prove the presence of your precious third person. Okay, Nick, just relax. You can do this. Come on now, take some deep breaths. Good idea. Deep breaths. Deep breaths. There. Don't you feel better already? Maya's right. I should calm down, get my focus back, and go over everything again. And then, hopefully, I'll be able to find something to prove there was a third person. Let's see. First, why did Gloomsbury attack Ellen? Because he was tired of taking the blame for the accident? Something about that line of reasoning just doesn't feel quite right to me. I mean, I wish Maya would summon Mia for shits and giggles. It would be nice. No? How come? Well, it was just a personal vendetta. He'd already stabbed Soren. So why then was he so determined to go after Ellen? You're right. I think this whole thing feels too premeditated for a crime of passion. But Bloomsbury didn't seem to have a personal grudge against Ellen. If Bloomsbury didn't have a personal reason to attack Ellen, then... You've taken long enough, Mr. Wright. Now time for some action. What proof do you have that the third person was involved? Alright, I'll show you. Well, I mean, they showed us fucking that note a second ago. The folded up one. What did it say? Grab Ellen when convenient, then send her off from the Vista deck. What is that? What does that mean? This piece of evidence proves the involvement of a third person. I mean...
Take that!
I get it now. Now I see why this note bothered me so much when I first saw it. Oh, it's because, fucking Gloomsbury's left-handed and, Emma told us this had to be written by somebody who was right-handed. Right? Yeah. Yeah. That's actually pretty decent, of a clue as well. Free Emma? Emma is free. She's just gonna get yelled at by Edgeworth later. This is the victim's murder plan, right? It's definitely a murder plan, but what if Mr. Gloomsbury didn't write this note himself? What? This is how you intend to conjure up your mysterious third party, Mr. Wright. Can you even prove that the note was written by the victim? Yes. Yes, I can. Very well then. Please present your evidence, Mr. Wright. This evidence proves that the victim didn't write the note. Candelava proves it.
Take that!
This is the weapon Mr. Gloomsbury used to stab Mr. Sprocket. I was wondering what you'd pull out of this time. Or what you'd pull out this time. Dare I ask what that could possibly have to do with the note? Mr. Gloomsbury's prints were found on this candelabra. And the prints were from his left hand. So, that makes the victim left-handed, correct? Exactly, Your Honor. The police looked into it, too, and confirmed as much. I love the smug face Phoenix makes when he's sure he's right. It's like, yep, nope, can't tell me anything. I'm right. Fuck you. Now, take a look at the smudge writing in this note. Notice how the smudging only starts from the middle of each preceding line. Had this been written by a lefty, the writing would have been smudged from the far left end. This means that whoever wrote this note was definitely right-handed. In other words, somebody other than the victim wrote this note. What? But if someone other than Mr. Gloomsbury wrote it, then what does this note mean? Mr. Gloomsbury followed this note to the letter when he attacked Miss Wyatt. So clearly this note isn't a murder plan written by Mr. Gloomsbury, but rather, these are instructions to kill Miss Wyatt, issued by somebody else.
Objection!
If it wasn't the victim who wrote these so-called instructions, then who wrote it? Most of the people involved are right-handed, you know. He is correct. The majority of the family and their employees who were on the airship are indeed right-handed. I must say, that is a very rough and slipshod conjecture you have proposed. I mean, I haven't figured out who wrote it just yet. Leave it to Mr. Edgeworth to go in for the jugular. Most people in general are right-handed, that is correct. But they're talking about the people that were in the place at the time that could have committed the crime. This culprit who ordered Gloomsbury to attack Ellen, what could their motive have been? It doesn't seem very likely Ellen did anything to incur anybody's wrath, right? Right. Not too likely, anyway. In that case, it has to be about Soren. If somebody were to hold a grudge against Soren, what would it be about? An accident, I guess. I can understand if Gloomsbury felt resentful about having to take the blame. But the one who lost most of that incident was Soren's sister. She lost her life, after all. Well, technically, the boyfriend lost a lot, too. Soren suffered too, of course. He was crushed by losing someone so precious to him. Yeah, but he's like, most of these people are right-handed. Like, yes, Pierce, we did not think this was a lefty convention. I assume he was just stating that to further shut down Phoenix instead of, oh, well, maybe there's a lot of left-handed people. Hold on, you had a thought? That's dangerous, don't do that. There's someone who else must hold a grudge against Soren. Did you figure something out? I think so. I think this somebody else used Gloomsbury to try to get revenge against Soren. Did you say somebody tried to get revenge against Mr. Sprocket, Mr. Wright? The person who manipulated and used Mr. Gloomsbury was Selena's fiancé. The person who used Mr. Gloomsbury to try to get revenge on Mr. Sprocket, and to finish Mr. Gloomsbury off and silence him, was a man dear to Mr. Sprocket's older sister, Selena Sprocket's fiancé. Not that I'm positive, but it's certainly possible. This fiancé could have made Gloomsbury attack Ellen to get his revenge on Soren. What? Her fiancé? What's your thought, though, Blaze? Speak on it, brother. Order in the court, I say. What if Pierce was in love with the sister, but since the brother was the cause of the accident and Pierce held a grudge against Soren? That's what we thought it was for the longest time. You've arrived a little bit late. Pierce was the fiancé, and Soren got her killed inadvertently, and he held a grudge against Soren for all this time, and thought to himself, you know what? If I can't have my wife because of Soren, Soren can't have his wife because of me. Yeah, that was the leading theory that I was going off with. There's a little bit more to it than that, but yeah, you finally arrived to the right track of thought. Thank you for joining. Welcome to the stream, King Blaze, double underscore. Thank you for tuning in. Yes, it does seem quite believable that Miss Selena Sprocket's fiancé would bear a grudge against Mr. Sprocket for his role in the accident. Exactly, Your Honor. Maybe her fiancé was trying to murder Miss Wyatt in order to make Mr. Sprocket experience the same pain he felt.
Objection!
Miss Sprocket's fiancé was a surgeon, if memory serves, but the only people who attended the reception were family and staff members. That may be, but then that just means Miss Sprocket's fiancé must have been among those who attended. What? Really? Of course. Otherwise, how could he have killed Gloomsbury? Oh, I see what you're doing. This is another giant bluff, isn't it? Alright, I'll bite. Who exactly do you claim this fiancé to be? Yes, I would like to know as well. Are you sure you're going to be okay, Nick? Maybe? When it comes to suspicious people, there's only one person on my list. I need to find something that connects him to Selena. This will help us identify Miss Sprocket's fiancé. It's the photo of her because, gee, I wonder what could be in this photo that could help us identify fucking Pierce as her fiancé. It's not like he's been pulling it out every fucking time he takes the stand. Or not even just every time he takes a stand. Every time we see him... Please take a look at this photo, Your Honor. Yeah, Sephiroth is like one of the Sephiroth and Volter from Fire Emblem. That he looks like a combination of those two, with a monocle. The way the hair comes apart and like has this fucking unnaturalness to it, as well as the parting at the top. Notice Miss Sprocket's pocket watch. Haven't we seen it somewhere before? You know, just once? Never again? Yes, now that you mention it, I do feel as if I've seen it somewhere before. I believe we've all seen it. Right here in this very courtroom. What the fuck? Ugh, impossible. That's right, the pocket watch in this photo. It's the same pocket watch Mr. Nakati has on him right now. What? This is clear proof of a strong connection between Pierce Nakati and Selena Sprocket. No. Well, Mr. Nakati, is this true? Mr. Nakati, you are the one engaged to Selena Sprocket. That pocket watch, you keep it as a memento of her, don't you? Mr. Nakati, you plan on to rob Mr. Sprocket of his loved one, to make him feel the same pain as you. Isn't that right? Mr. Sprocket managed to fight back and knock Mr. Gloomsbury unconscious. You thought Mr. Gloomsbury was dead and hid his body in the lantern. But then you noticed Mr. Gloomsbury regained consciousness. So you finished him off to prevent your plan from being exposed. This is the defense's take on what really happened in this murder case. Mr. Wright, does this mean you wish to effusively accuse this witness of the murder of Demas Bloomsbury? Does the defense accuse Mr. Nakati of the murder? Of fucking course we do! The defense indicts Pierce Nakati on the charge of murdering Demas Gloomsbury. Oh my! Mr. Nakati, would you care to respond? Say something, brother. Man, this lawyer just yaps on and on. As you guessed, this watch is a memento of Selena. It stopped working at the time of the accident, though. Then you really are. Yes, I was Selena's fiancé, and not just her fiancé, but the surgeon beside her deathbed.
Objection!
Mr. Nakati, why didn't you tell me any of this before? Shut it, you useless prosecutor. Yo! Lower your voice. I thought you could be of use, but apparently this case was too much for you. What did you say? If your office hadn't stuck its nose all up in this, I could have swept it under the rug. Not only did you interfere with the case, but you even let me fall under suspicion. That's because you kept trying to cover things up on the sly. But covering things up wasn't your only involvement. The only person who had a motive to use the victim and try and kill Miss Wyatt was you. What? NGR again. Oh, good. Ah. Correcchio speaks the truth. Malignant tumors. There are malignant tumors in this courtroom. Lesions oozing with false charges. Where did you... Who's your assistant? The tumors are one idiotic lawyer and one useless prosecutor. After the truth is revealed, I'll have the both of you inside from the legal world. I'd like to see you try. With the power of the Sprocket family, it'd be a cinch. I will now begin the operation. What in the world happened to Mr. Nakati? Looks like he's finally shown his true colors. Nick, look what he did to that shoulder mag. Put your yap in before I search your chatty lips shut. It's like he's a completely different person. Sure looks like it, huh? We can't let our guards down now. Mr. Nakati, it's finally time for you to testify. To the truth. Seems we're entering the final act at last. Witness, your testimony, please. Right to remain silent. Oh? Is it just gonna be like fucking 8 lines of this? I've been lagging, by the way. Don't even know if my comments came through. I've seen like one of yours. I'm just kind of passing through it. If you want to be horny over Maya, that's your prerogative. I'm not gonna read them. This is great. What was that, 3, 4? Mr. Nakati, why didn't you say anything? Ah! You just took a picture of me. Or something. Oh! You want me to voluntarily testify, hoping I will make a slip of the tongue. Why does Phoenix's X-ray include the spikes? Not a very impressive plan, or brain, I might add. Ow, that was uncalled for. If you want to know something, you ask the question. I will answer, but I have no intention of making any voluntary statements of my own. What's he trying to do, Nick? He's using the silent treatment as a strategy to avoid getting all tripped up. Clever guy. No more lies, Mr. Nakati. You will tell us nothing but the truth from now on. Oh, I want to see this one. What do you think you're doing? Oh, he's got the cravat. No one asked you to speak. Just keep quiet over there and play with your frills. How dare you? Well, this is a rather unconventional situation, but please proceed, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. Cross-examination. Fuck it. If he won't speak voluntarily, then I guess I'll have to ask him something. Oh. Alright. What question should I ask? Reason for killing Gloomsbury, grudge against Soren, actions today, all of these are good. Can I get all of the above? You can ask all of them? Okay. Oh, and do these end up replacing the dots in his testimony? Isn't it true that when Mr. Gloomsbury regained consciousness inside the lantern, you murdered him in order to silence him? He was an excellent employee and very loyal to me. Bloomsbury was my right-hand man. I'd suffered most from losing him. You really think I'd kill a guy like that? That would make sense only if you were innocent. But since your goal was revenge, you don't really have to care about something like that. But I am innocent, I tell you. Don't try to force your conjectures onto me. Thanks to that decisive evidence, I can't pursue this line of questioning any further. Mr. Wright, would you like that statement added? Yeah. Okay, that's pretty neat. I actually really fuck with that. That's pretty cool. Bloomsbury was my right hand. Yeah, that's sick. He won't speak voluntarily. I guess I'll have to ask him about something. What should I ask? You've been nursing a grudge against Mr. Sprocket over the loss of your fiancée. Isn't that right? They fill in the correct number as well? I was just going to go down the line. So if you ask the last one, it fills in the third. Okay, I was just going to go top to bottom, but that's pretty cool. I'd be lying if I said I felt no resentment whatsoever. But Master Soren didn't cause that accident on purpose. Master Soren himself has suffered greatly. But you quit being a surgeon and found a way to get even closer to Mr. Sprocket. Wasn't that so you could carry out your revenge on him? Don't insult me. I'm not clicking all the way up there, but fair enough. Supporting Master Soren and Sprocket Aviation with my life's work is my penance for not being able to save Selena. That is how I honor her. I feel your devotion is both a fiancé and a surgeon. Your statement breaks my heart. I've never thought of exacting revenge on Master Soren. Never thought of it, huh? I guess I should probably take that with a pound of salt. Will you take a break before investigations? Potentially. Might do investigations starting on the 1st. Just a day break. Add that one to the testimony as well. Yes, please, Your Honor. I have to find an opening somehow. Jeez, big yawns. I've never thought of exacting revenge on Master Soren.
Hold it.
Been able to keep ahead, but if you start investigations tomorrow, you definitely pass me. Yeah. Actions the day of the crime. I would expect so. It's crazy though. You're keeping a good pace. So as long as you start up investigations tonight/tomorrow, then you'll still be ahead of me. I'm gonna be playing the mobile port as well, so keep that in mind. I don't know if there is a difference between the two, but if you are playing it on DS, then you'll definitely see the difference. Tonight it's almost 2 AM, Chris. Look, man, it's still nighttime. On the day of the incident, you were constantly surrounded by your subordinates. Is that right? You have work tomorrow? Well, you'll have to play investigations at work then. I'm gonna play mobile? Okay. Absolutely. I was in someone's line of sight at all times. After all, I was busy taking care of every detail in the event. Mr. Edgeworth, I believe your investigation backs up my claim. I got statements that said groups of his subordinates worked with him in rotation, so he was always with someone. As the prosecutor just said, I couldn't have even get close to the lantern containing Gloomsbury and myself, let alone kill him. Pierce didn't have a chance to get close to the victim alone, huh? Do you plan on playing investigations too? Potentially. I know I'm going to play 1 for certain, but 2 I'm a little bit more wary on, just because of the fan translation being a little bit harder to find. If you guys have a link to the fan translation, like, because I assume I'll have to play it on DS, because I don't think the mobile version's been translated, because I'll have to play the DS version. Breaks have been perfect for me in keeping ahead. I've been playing a bit slower than you overall, but the breaks have let me keep ahead with a steady playing every evening. That's good. Some of these fucking breaks that I've been taking, some of them have kind of like sprung on me. Some of them have just kind of been spontaneous, like the one from a couple days ago, where my stomach was just fucking doing backflips. Add that shit to the testimony. What are we still doing here? Yes, Your Honor. I'd like to have this statement added to his testimony. Very well. I was always in the company of others. I didn't have any opportunity to murder Bloomsbury. Yeah, except you did. Let's go ahead and show that you are standing in some fog.
Objection!
Mr. Nakati testifies that he was always with someone at the time of the incident. I played it on emulator and it worked pretty well. That's fair. I just kind of wanted, if I'm going to be playing Investigations 1, it'd kind of feel the same weirdness as playing Apollo Justice and Spirit of Justice on emulator, but playing, or not on emulator, on mobile, but playing Dual Destinies on emulator. Like, I have no problem doing it, it's just going to feel a little bit funky to me. And never had a moment to commit the crime. Yes, and the police investigation backs that statement up, doesn't it? There was an opportunity, in fact. One, and one only. A moment when Mr. Nakati could have killed Mr. Bloomsbury without anyone noticing. What? And the one thing that made that moment possible is shown here in this photograph. With all those people watching, I couldn't possibly have committed murder. Do not believe him, Your Honor. This lawyer is a malignant tumor. He wants to infect this judicial body with his virulent accusations. I've been lurking since you started this game, and I've really enjoyed your playthrough. Well, I'm glad you piped up towards the end, Sive. Thanks for sticking around. Lurkers, that's all I ask. Just one message every now and again. Look at Sive as a shining example of how to lurk. Also, by the way, Chris, I think it's pretty funny that you said, why can't Apollo just main this on both Athena cases, yet they both made A tier? Yeah, because they're good cases. I don't mean they're just fucking, they're not, like, great cases, but I still wish Apollo was the case lead on them. I kind of wish Apollo was just the focal character, so that he got more screen time. They're both good cases. I've been busy with school stuff, so I've had them in the background, but I'm pretty much done with that, so I figured I'd say something. Fair enough, Seabed. Appreciate it, brother. Mr. Nakati, we ask that you keep quiet at this time. We need to evaluate the defense's claim, and your yammering only serves to throw further suspicion your way. Mr. Wright, let's see this one thing you mentioned. But be warned, this had better not be one of your offhanded claims. Who do you think you're talking to, Mr. Edgeworth? Very well, Mr. Wright. Please point out for us the one thing that made the moment of the murder possible. The one moment when it was possible for Mr. Nakati to kill Mr. Bloomsbury. One thing that made that single moment possible is this. Just a fucking smoke.
Take that!
The one thing that made the moment of his murder possible, oh, excuse me, the fog, not the smoke, is this thick mood fog that engulfed the entire reception hall. It is under the cover of this fog that Mr. Nakati murdered the victim. What? Mr. Nakati was standing right next to the lantern that Mr. Bloomsbury was in. This was the only moment the murder could have been committed without being seen.
Objection!
I can accept that there was a moment when the witness was obscured from others by fog. But that doesn't prove Mr. Nakati killed the victim at that very moment. If you can't prove the crime was committed during the reception, the trial ends here. I was so caught up in finding a foothold that I forgot to think ahead, that far ahead. Well done, Mr. Edgeworth. It's time to call this trial's time of death. Well, Mr. Wright, can you prove the murder happened during the reception? Don't even bother. His claim is dead on arrival. Victory is within your grasp, prosecutor. Even though I made this observation, I'll never put 6-4 in the same tier as 4-1 personally. I mean, it's I would say it's on that level. I think it's really good. I think a lot of the Spirit of Justice game, or cases rather, they have a lot of really good subtext. They have much better theming, and that ends up being a lot more enjoyable for a lot of the cases for me. Except when that theming doesn't go dumbass stupid, like in 6-2. Because it's great, but it's a little bit weird. Personally, I think it's more on the level of 3-1 and 3-4. That's fair enough. Obviously, it's my tier list. I don't really think it has to be, like, it's not truth by any stretch of the word. I have no interest in victory. All I care about is the truth. One that we can only arrive at through further deliberation. Edgeworth. Enough of this. Your Honor, the trial is over. No, Mr. Nakati, that is for me to decide. Mr. Wright, can you prove it? Can you prove that the murder was committed during the wedding reception? Why is there no verdict yet? The lawyer's obviously out of answers. The prosecutor, the judge, they're all infected. The malignant stupidity is so advanced, not even one of the best surgeons could save them. In fact, not even a brain transplant could cure them. This court is infected with idiocy. It's a pandemic.
Objection!
Mr. Nakati, that's enough already. Finally ready to give up, are you? No, just the opposite, actually. I'll prove the murder was committed during the reception. By you. Gear to the face. I don't think it's bad that it was super off. 4-1 was just the standard setter for trial-only cases, so I'd probably have it as the only trial-only in its tier. But yeah, you said it's just personal preference. Yeah. I just really like 6-4, just because it's not, like, really... Like, 6-4 and 4-1, their mysteries end up being better. Like, retroactively, I think throughout the course of the game that 4-1 starts to dip as far as its, like, own, like, game's story goes, and 6-4 remains on its pedestal because nothing else touches it. 6-4 kind of just happens and then goes. That's it, right? It's touch and go. But with 4-1, it's like, you have to relate it back in 4-4. And obviously, I tried to rate them all in a vacuum as their own cases, but even to that effect, I still have to recognize the effect that they have on the rest of the game and the how the rest of the game has an effect on them, right? Can you really, Mr. Wright? Yes, I can, Your Honor. To be honest, I don't know exactly how I'll do it just yet. But if I want to get to the truth Edgeworth was talking about, I'll just have to find that way. Very well, Mr. Wright. Let's have your proof. Enough of this foolishness. He's just bluffing. Stop him from speaking, Your Honor. I will do nothing of the sort. You are just a district court judge. With the power of the Sprocket family, Enough of your foolishness, Mr. Nakati. This judicial body will not succumb to the influence of money or power. Now then, let's hear it, Mr. Wright. Let's hear your truth. Think, Phoenix. Remember everything you've learned so far. Oh, is it fucking logic dive time? You can do this. You can find the definitive evidence that will lead us to the truth. Let's go! Thinking time! Think, Phoenix. How can I prove the murder took place during the wedding reception? If Pierce committed the murder during the reception, then he had to have used the murder weapon. Yes, the weapon that was used to strike the victim twice, a timekeeper. According to the autopsy report, the victim was hit in his head by the same object both times. So without a doubt, Pierce used it to commit the murder. The weapon used to kill Bloomsbury. What? There's... Okay. Timekeeper? Why the fuck was that a question? Alright. Whatever. fear struck the victim during that one single moment, then he must have used the timekeeper. Come to think of it, wasn't it also used for something else during the reception? Yeah, the fucking startup bullshit of love. The first startup of love. Timekeeper had been activated. That's right, the timekeeper had been activated during the reception. If we activated the timekeeper again now, find any trace evidence of the murder, that would be conclusive proof that Gloomsbury was killed during the reception. Alright. Someone bring the blimp out. A special ceremony took place during the reception in question. What kind of a special ceremony? It was called the first startup of love. Apparently, the couple activated the timekeeper for the first time during it. Does that mean the timekeeper here in evidence isn't activated at the moment? And what would happen if we were to activate it? Well, why don't we see for ourselves? It would give us a chance to examine it. And while we're at it, we just might find some conclusive evidence. Like the murder weapon can never be the wrong answer to the question, what did he use to murder? Like, yeah, no, that thought train was, like, a lot of them aren't really, like, super strong. Like, they ask you a very direct question. It's like, the three answers, like, one of them is very clearly the answer, but some of those questions in there were like, yes, the floor here is made of floor. No, you can't activate it. Mr. Nakati, keep quiet or I'll have you thrown out of court. By the way, Mr. Wright, this is supposed to be a time machine, right? We aren't going to travel back in time to the Stone Age or anything, are we? I don't think you have anything to worry too much. I don't think we have to worry too much about that, Your Honor. I'm still a little nervous nonetheless, but the truth must be known. Very well. Go ahead and start up the timekeeper. Do you know how, Nick? I think so. Maybe. Bride and groom, yeah, they had a symbol of their love. Let's see. I think the symbol of the groom's love must be the timekeeper itself. What symbol of the bride's love would fit together with the timekeeper? The fucking cog she wears on her neck? Oh, I know. That has to be it. Alright, there was like, I love that picture. The floor here is made of floor. It's a great picture. It was weird though, because every time I see it, like every subsequent time that I see it, it gets more and more distorted. Like, it gets more and more compressed, and like somebody saves it from Twitter, then posts it to Facebook. Somebody saves it from Facebook, posts it to Instagram. Somebody screenshots it on Instagram and then posts it to fucking Discord. Somebody saves it from Discord and then uploads it with a filter to Tumblr. You know, like, it gets worse literally every time I see it. Are you ready to activate the time machine now? Yes, Your Honor. The symbol of the bride's love that's necessary for activating the timekeeper is her pendant.
Take that!
This is why it's pendant. It's the symbol of the bride's love that's necessary for activating the timekeeper. What? I'm gonna have to go though. I'll watch the very end tomorrow. Have a great night. You take it easy, Nostalgia. Get some rest, buddy. We'll be ending assumably very shortly here because it feels like we're coming up on the proper end. Then does that mean you can start it up with Miss Wyatt's pendant? I believe so, Your Honor. Very well. Please try it now, Mr. Wright. Okay, here I go. But first, I have to figure out where the pendant goes. Oh, son of a bitch. Oh, is it just supposed to fit into right here? This hole looks like a good spot. I'll try setting the pendant in here. Yeah, it fits. This must be the right spot. Now I have to find a place to insert the key. So yeah, see for your investigation. See you then, brother. Where would the fucking key go? I don't see a keyhole. Unless I'm dumb. Which, you know, very strong possibility, but... Where the fuck... Do I put the key inside of the fucking thing? So in the middle... Oh, okay. Could this be it? Right, okay. Hey! Is that a bloodstain? It worked! The timekeeper's been activated. And all I have to do is find proof that the crime was committed during the reception. I wonder what it could be. I think I found it. Conclusive evidence that the murder was committed during the wedding reception. The giant mark of impact and blood? Just as I suspected, there's evidence of the murder inside the timekeeper, Mr. Nakati. The timekeeper was only activated and opened during the wedding reception, right? No, stop. So, that means this is conclusive proof that the crime was committed during the reception. After you killed the victim under the cover of the fog, you closed the timekeeper to hide the bloodstain, didn't you? If only he had, like, kept that key with him, then we wouldn't have been able to prove that. No, you're wrong. Ellen killed Bloomsbury. It wasn't me, I tell you.
Objection!
Give it up, Mr. Nakati. How could the defendant, who was in the middle of pledging her love, have possibly committed the murder with everyone else watching her? It was the family. Yes, all the family members conspired together to kill him.
Objection!
There's no way you can talk your way out of this, Mr. Nakati. During the reception, during that one dreamlike moment, only one person could have used the timekeeper to beat the victim to death. You want to take a guess on who it could be? And that one person was you, Pierce Nakati. Break down, break down. Oh. That's a good breakdown. I feel bad for this guy more than Soren. I feel bad for... I genuinely feel bad and understand why this guy did the murder that he did. But, yeah, like, this is one of the more sympathetic, like, murder suspects we've gotten. I can say that much for free. Witness, are you finally ready to tell us the truth? It's just as the lawyer deduced. So it was all a revenge scheme against Soren Sprocket. Do you have any idea how hard it is to lose someone you love right in front of you? Selena's condition was clearly more critical than Soren's, but in spite of that, she said, "Please help Soren." Yep. Miss Sprocket's last words. So that's what she really meant by those words. I was able to grant her wish, but at the price of her life. So you got a job with Sprocket Aviation, waiting for your chance to get revenge. You got close to Mr. Bloomsbury and hatched this plot. Isn't that right? Bloomsbury already bore a grudge against Soren. So when I tempted him with an even better position, he immediately took the bait. He was your accomplice, someone who shared the same goal as you. Why was it necessary for you to kill him? I didn't expect Soren to strike Bloomsbury out on the Vista Deck. and I certainly never imagined he'd make his way there along the outside wall. Soren's love is the real deal, after all. My plan had been compromised, so for the time being, I hid his body in the lantern, and tried to think of my next move. And then Mr. Gloomsbury came, too, during the second wedding reception. As soon as I saw Gloomsbury, I instantly hit upon an idea. To pin the blame of Gloomsbury's murder on Ellen. And trying to break up the couple by making the bride out to be a murderer. How despicable. Soren was getting the company and a wedding. Both things that were supposed to be Selena's. He took every happiness from her. Who's the despicable one here? Do you think what you did would make her happy? I know it wouldn't. But I couldn't just stand by, watching Soren enjoy his happiness. I was going to have Soren taste the same pain I had, and then take over Sprocket Aviation. I would take back from him all of the happiness that was rightfully Selena's. Time stopped for me the day I lost her, just like this pocket watch of hers. Pierce. Miss White. I believe Selena would have said, "Leave this ill will behind. Your time is yours to live." It's too late for me. Time will never advance for me ever again. What? It can't be. Oh. I see now, Selena. What I did was wrong. I see no further need to continue this trial. Bailiff, please take Mr. Nakati away. Pierce Nakati, another inconsolable time traveler, who lived in that time that stood still. Now then, I must render my verdict regarding the defendant. Your Honor, before you give your ruling, would you please allow me a moment? Very well. Ellen, there's something I need to say to you. Yes, Soren? I put you through something truly horrible. This whole thing happened all because of me. I would understand if you wanted to call off our marriage. Of course not. I never thought once that. So this case is Turnabout Big Top done better? It's not even Turnabout Big Top. This is just a good case. Turnabout, like, nothing happens from fucking happenstance or mistake. The only thing that happens from mistake is it's the fucking, the guy wakes up inside the lantern and Nakati has to hit him again. That's the only thing. That's it. If you stay with me, you'll only face even more trying times in the future. What do you mean? The truth of this incident, and the car accident before it. I'm going to tell the public everything. I expect the company's reputation will suffer, and I'll take a lot of criticism. But I feel I can only really start over once I get everything out in the open. Soren. After all that's happened, I might not have the right to ask you this, but, well, how should I say this? Maybe I'll just... Paper airplane? Close the book. Yeah! A life with me probably won't be very easy, but... Ask again. Will you marry me? Yeah! Yes, of course. Your Honor, thank you for this time. Please continue with your ruling. Very well, but first I have one question. Do the two of you pledge your eternal love for each other to the goddess of justice, Themis? Your Honor, that's just weird. But I do, Your Honor. I do. Does the prosecution or defense have any objections? Well done, Your Honor. No objections here. The defense has no objections either, Your Honor. Court finds the defendant, Ellen Wyatt. Ah, that's not right. This court finds the defendant, Ellen Sprocket, not guilty. Let's go! Yeah! Fuck you, Miles! Yeah! Pierce in the court. Pierce ain't even in the courtroom right now. They took Pierce away. This court is adjourned. We did it, boys. September 23rd, 11:36, District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 3. Ellen, Soren, congratulations. Mr. Wright, I can't thank you enough. If you hadn't exposed the truth, Soren and I wouldn't... But now you can finally start your new life together, right? Oh, thank you. Mr. Wright, we'll be holding our real wedding ceremony in the near future. Would you do us the honor of coming to it? We want you to witness our fresh start. Of course, would miss it for the world. And Ellen, this time, it'll finally be happily ever after, right? Oh yes. The two of you have persevered and overcome this trial together. Now, no matter what obstacles come your way, I'm sure you'll be able to handle them. There's another thing I'm sure of too. This person will always be watching over the two of you. The sister.
Take that!
Selena, yes, I think you're right. And we promise to live life to the fullest for Selena's sake too. Right, Soren? That's right. Well, we better be on our way. Yes, my love. Yeah! Wow, old threshold carry, huh? Way to show off. We'll be seeing you. Goodbye for now. I'll look forward to that wedding. I'll be looking forward to that wedding. Hold on tight, Ellen. You better believe I will. I'm never letting you go. Yeah! There they go. You're not thinking of going to that wedding by yourself, are you? Oh, Athena. You need to stop running around. You're taking us too, right? Oh boy, I bet there's gonna be all kinds of fancy food there. Athena, when did you get here? Just now. I would have been here to cheer you guys on earlier, but Teresa never gave me a chance to slip away. You're going to be in even bigger trouble with her later. Speaking of the wedding, maybe I should ask them to invite Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth? Really? But he thought Ellen was guilty all the way to the end. That may be true, but... He did fight back. If he hadn't stood up for us when he did, the trial would have probably ended there. You mean Mr. Edgeworth gave us that chance? Maybe. Though, knowing him, I doubt he'd ever tell, even if I asked. Well, if that's how you feel about it, Nick, then why not try to get him invited? Hey, Maya. Have you ever tried to catch the bouquet? What? No. I never have either. Fighting over a bouquet that's been tossed by the bride? Talk about a fierce competition. I'm totally stoked. I'm not sure it's really supposed to be all that competitive. I'm a pretty good jumper, so I think I've got a good chance. She's definitely missing the point of the whole thing. And Larry, how did you manage to stay so quiet for so long? Shut up! Especially the lady you fell in love with. Every happiness is what a real man does. I'm pretty sure that relationship was over before it even began, Larry. Darn it all. If only I was 10 years younger, things would have gone differently. Hands of time, why won't you turn back for me? Anime? Fuck. September 30th, 9:20 a.m., Sprocket Park, Mooring Dock. Today is Ellen and Soren's third wedding ceremony and reception. I heard the bride and groom insisted on it being the Flying Chapel again. In the end, they were nice enough to invite me and Maya. And Athena kind of invited herself. They also invited Edgeworth, Emma, and even Larry. They say third time's the charm, right? I really do hope it's happily ever after for them this time around. Still, I get the feeling it's going to be one rowdy party.
Ready when you are. Okay, here we go!
Emma's hairstyle for that dress is nice.
Oh, hey! Look who's next! Huh?
Get back! Haven't you ever heard of Lady Ruth?
I'm truly blessed to have you.
Larry ain't giving that shit up. And that is the end of the DLC episode, Turnabout Time Traveler. Do we get anything for beating it? Surely, right? No? Question mark? Really? Huh. Oh, fuck. It's happening. Rayquazi gifted 5 subs. One over to Seabase, Synth, King Blaze, Soriano, and Invisible Opinion. Welcome to the Family Brothers. And thank you to Rayquazi for the gifts. And paying forward the gift they got from Nostalgia, too. That's nice. Enjoy the subs, everybody. Thank the man if you are here. If you heard my voice and I said your name, thank the man. We'll go to the episode select. What's up with the episode select? There should be 2 more bonuses? No, I only have these. That's all I got. I don't have the Apollo and the Apollo and Phoenix little side things. I was told those weren't worth getting, like they were really short, so I was just like, ah, fuck it. Turnabout Time Traveler it is. But with that, I think that's going to end it for me today. Like I said, there will more than likely be no stream tomorrow. However, May 1st, we will be starting Ace Attorney Investigations. They're little pathetic OVA things. Ugh. Yeah, so I'm glad I didn't get them then. I might check them out on YouTube, but there's not really worth my time. But I'd like to thank you all very much for coming out. I'd like to thank Smash for continuing his sub, Rayquazi for the couple gifts there at the end. But that's going to do it for me. I will catch you guys on Friday. And we will be getting back into, maybe not a courtroom, but we'll be looking around. We'll be looking for crime shit. But I'll catch you guys later. Peace.